Hey everyone, welcome to Blossom in Business, the podcast for beauty business owners who are ready to treat their business like a business, not just a hobby. My name is Monique and I'm a Melbourne-based salon owner and educator, and I'm here to help you grow your income, attract the right clients, and build a business that's actually sustainable. So if you're in the beauty industry and you're ready to level up your mindset, your marketing, and the way that you run your business, this is the podcast for you. I hope you love this episode. Now let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Blossom in Business podcast. Today I wanted to talk about one of the things that I see so many girls do. It's actually something that I did inside my business when I was first starting out, and honestly it's one of the things that I regret, and this is adding a new service. Now I'm not saying not to add a new service. There is a time and place to expand and offer different services in your salon. But what I mean is don't add a new service because you don't have enough bookings. A lot of people think that the solution to their problem of not having enough bookings is to just add another service. So for me, when I was offering nails, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got gaps. I'm gonna add lashes. Oh my gosh, I've still got gaps. I'm gonna add lash lifts. Oh my gosh, I've still got gaps. I'm gonna add brows. But the thing is, yes, you may get some clients that come to you for that new service, or you may be able to upsell some of your existing clients into getting that service as well. But you need to understand the root cause. Why are you not getting enough bookings? Why are there gaps in your calendar? And I literally experienced this firsthand. As I said, I started expanding and expanding and expanding. And don't get me wrong, I love offering lashes. I love offering brows, and I don't regret adding them in the sense of like I don't enjoy doing them. I love doing them. I am glad in the sense of like doing the task that I added them, but I would say the reason for adding them was not the right reason. And yes, I am passionate about it. Let me just preface, I am passionate about all the services that I offer, but I feel like one of the reasons that I did add them and I did expand to so many services is because I wasn't considering how I was actually bringing clients into my salon. And I thought, if I just offer brows as well, then they'll come to me for brows. If I just offer lash extensions as well, I'm gonna get lash extension clients. And those clients are gonna fill the gaps that I have. When realistically, I just needed a better client attraction strategy. Now again, I don't regret offering the services in the sense of like, I don't enjoy doing them, but I do regret them in a sense of it actually put me further away from my goals when it came to growing my salon. So with any business, of course it's a startup, right? You want to learn nails, you have to pay for the nail course, you have to pay for the products, the furniture, literally all the things. Now offering manicures, pedicures, lash extensions, lash lifts, and eyebrows, I'm sure you can imagine how many expenses I've had. Like I've already done like 10 plus courses in nails alone. I'm the kind of person that loves to upskill. So for me, I was not only staying on top of my nail skills manicure wise, but then I wanted to learn pedicures. And yes, when I did my TAFE, we had covered pedicures a little bit, but I wanted to learn pedicures properly. And then I did a course and it wasn't that great, or maybe it didn't give me the best result. I wanted to do another course. And then obviously upskilling throughout the years to remain consistent. That's already expensive enough on its own. Like having 1 to 2 services that you need to learn, pay for the products for, pay for the setup for, and consistently remain the top of your skill set for is already expensive. Then every other service you add, you have to do the exact same thing. So that's why in one of my episodes, I mentioned that I've done like over 40 courses in the beauty industry. That's because I've had to learn every single skill, not only in the first course, but also the first course may have not been that good. Maybe I wanted to learn a different technique. Maybe I wanted to upskill, and it's costed me so much money. So adding a new service, yes, it can be beneficial in a way, and we'll get to that a little later in the episode. But adding a new service can be very, very costly. So picture the startup costs you had to offer the first service that you have currently, whether it's nails, lashes, brows, whatever service you've started with. Picture that whole cost. How much you paid for the course, how much you paid for the furniture, how much you paid for the products, the cost of upskilling, the cost of doing another course because the first one you did might not have been that good. Or maybe you did online first and then you wanted to do in person. Picture all these factors for this first service that you have. Now picture that again for another service. Another thing that I always forget to mention on here, I think I actually mentioned it for the first time a few episodes ago. I even forgot to mention it in my introductory video, but I offered teeth whitening once upon a time too. And I didn't actually start with nails. I do remember mentioning this, but I did start with makeup. So you can imagine makeup, nails. Originally I started with acrylic and then I switched to gel. And of course the amount of times that I've changed, Builder Gel brands, Gel-X brands, all of that. Within nails, right? Within manicures, pedicures, lash extensions. At first I started with classics and pre-mades and pro-mades, and then I started learning handmade, so I had to do another course in that. Then I had to get products for that. Pedicures, I started offering those on the lash bed, but when I did originally start with lashes, I did have to pay for that lash bed, the additional storage, the additional products, the additional training. Lash lifts, that was another thing, a whole nother course. I did multiple of those courses, whole nother range of products. For brows, I had to get a wax pot, I had to get all the things. Every single time that you expand in your services, you have another expense. So I felt like I was constantly repeating that startup investment. Because you know that big investment that you make when you first learn the skill, you first open your business with that service? I was repeating that startup investment every single time that I was adding a new service to my menu. Not only that, but you're entering that learning phase again. You're entering that phase where you're still learning the skill. You're gonna have to do some free models, some cheap models, and that's taking away time that you have with your clients that are actually paying you full price for the service that you already have. So that's just another thing to think about if you are thinking of expanding your services. Do you have the time, and is it really going to solve the issue in your business? I would say if you're someone that is pretty fully booked and you do genuinely want to expand services, maybe you want to do a price increase in your current service and you want another service to upsell your existing clients into, I feel like adding a service just because your books are very quiet and just because you don't have enough bookings isn't the right reason to actually do it, because it's not going to solve the problem. The problem is that you don't have enough clients interested. The problem is that you don't have enough bookings. So yes, you can get a small influx of new clients because you offer this new service, or some existing clients that now want to get this service as well. But then what happens when you start getting gaps with that service? The same cycle is going to keep happening. So we need to understand, why exactly do we have these gaps in the first place? Are we not rebooking our clients? Do we have no way of attracting new clients? And I feel like a lot of people forget this, but it's so much easier to keep and nurture your existing clients than to get new clients. Yes, everyone should have a new client attraction strategy, a way to get new clients, new eyes on their business, especially because if you change your hours, you change your prices, or just naturally some clients may eventually not come anymore, you want enough people interested to fill those spots when they open up. But what a lot of people don't realize is it's so much easier to stay consistently fully booked with your existing clients. You don't need to be always attracting huge amounts of new clients. Yes, you should always make sure that your salon's in demand, so you could get new clients if you need them. If you have the gaps, you can fill them. But the best way to remain fully booked is to take care of the clients that already come to you. They're clients that have already been through your funnel. You've already attracted them, you've already nurtured them, and they've already converted because they've already booked with you. It is so much easier to get them to rebook and get them to keep coming back than it is to continue to get new clients and put them through the funnel again. So for me, adding more services was a big financial investment, and it didn't solve the problem of having gaps in my calendar. It didn't solve that issue of not having enough bookings. So not only was it such a huge financial investment to start offering another service, not only to have those free model spots again, to have those discounted model spots again, to pay for the equipment, pay for the products, pay for the training, pay for the consistent training, but it also made my salon so much more expensive to run. And I think I did mention this in one of the pricing episodes, I can't remember, but I did mention it in an episode that I feel like everyone should be upskilling, everyone should be doing refresher training in whatever service they offer at least every year, because you want to be at the top of your skill set. That's what's going to set you apart from all your competitors, is that you're going to be the best at what you do. You're going to be the expert at what you do. And I feel like that refresher training, that upskill training that you do every year, that should be incorporated into your pricing. And I feel like also whenever you do something like that, that's a reason to increase your prices, even if it's just by a little bit, because your skill has now increased as well. But the thing that I didn't realize until I started adding like 4 or 5 different services is that you have to upskill in every single one. So it's not just that one upskill training or 2 upskill trainings I was doing a year. It was in every single service. And I feel like that's where the lines get a little bit blurred, because yes, technically we could say that the price of my brow training that I do that year to refresh would be included in the brow prices, and the nail one would be included in the nail prices. But then I feel like it gets a bit complicated, because then you have to consider, how many of these services are you doing per week? Am I doing, 15 nail clients, 5 brow clients, 6 lash clients? What if another week I have 20 brow clients and 3 nail clients? We could go on forever. I feel like it gets a bit complicated to make sure that you're actually pricing all of your upskill training properly. So I feel like that's something that I would have more in my overheads as a business, like as a whole, rather than have it directly tied to a service. I would just have a set amount of how much I spend on upskill training in a year combined for all my services, rather than just having it based per service, because then it gets confusing as to how much of each service you're offering each week. It may not even cover it, right? I hope that makes sense. It's a bit confusing, but it ends up being super costly to offer a lot of services and remain consistently skilled, consistently refreshed in every single area of your business. So financials was one of the reasons that I personally wouldn't do it again. If I was starting my business from scratch, I wouldn't be offering this many services again, but also because I feel like it can dilute the messaging of your brand. Now, a lot of people, they want to be perceived as like the one-stop shop, place for everything. And I feel like you can do it in a way that clients see value in it. But I feel like the best way to be valued as a business is to be the expert at something. You can't be the expert at everything. And trust me, another thing, so overwhelming to try and stay on top of my game for every single service. It's hard because I used to feel like whenever I'd focus on nails too much and I had a lot of nail clients, my brow skills were slipping up. And then, like it's really stressful mentally to be offering so many different services and trying to be the best at them. I feel like if I was to start again, I'd focus on one or two similar services that I had such a big passion for that I was actually able to dedicate time to upskilling, finances to upskilling, and I was able to push for marketing. Because again, I feel like when you offer a lot of services, it can dilute your brand because you don't want to be known as just a salon. You want to be known as the expert at something. So this could be nails. You could offer manicures and pedicures. You don't just have to offer the one specific service. You could offer lashes and brows. They go together quite well. But I feel like it gets a bit hard when you're trying to offer so many different things. Not saying that it's not possible, but you need to consider, are you getting enough clients in each of these areas that it's actually worth it? Like for me, I used to offer the teeth whitening and I got rid of it because I didn't have the time of day to offer a whole nother service. And also because I was charging such cheap prices for nails at the time, this was like years ago. Teeth whitening, I don't know if anyone knows much about teeth whitening. It's a pretty costly service, not only to offer, like as a service provider, it's quite costly. I think it was costing me at least $30 in products per teeth whitening appointment, not even including my wage, my actual salon overheads, just the products alone, like with a little aftercare kit and stuff, was $30. And teeth whitening, it's just one of those services that is over $100 to $200. And because I was undercharging with nails, my nail sets were like $60. So you can imagine how hard it would be to try and sell my clients that were used to paying so little for nails into teeth whitening, which was hundreds of dollars, right? So I kind of just gave up, honestly. I kind of wish that I still had the teeth whitening stuff because I feel like where I've gotten my business to now, and I kind of have that more like elevated luxury feel, I feel like I could sell teeth whitening much better now. And also I've learned a lot more about marketing since then, but sometimes offering a new service is more trouble than it's worth. So I did end up selling my stuff, but of course I still lost the investment for the course that I did. I obviously didn't make back the money that I'd spent on the products because I only did probably like 20 clients and I was like, bye. Like it wasn't getting booked for like probably 9 months. Like I had like one booking every few months and I'm like, I don't have the effort to market this. I could get new clients with this had I had the right strategies and also the energy to, but I didn't care for it. I was like, oh, this is just another thing to do on top of manicures, pedicures, lash lifts, lash extensions, brows. I was like, what's the point? I don't have the time of day to offer another service. I don't have the time of day to even market the service. Like I just don't care. Really, I just didn't care. So I got rid of it and I didn't make back the money that I invested into it at all. So in fact, I actually lost money trying to expand to another service. And I could have just left all my stuff here and just had it the rare occasion that someone booked, but chemical products, they could expire. I was like, there's no point. They're already sitting there for like 9 months. I'm like, I'm not going to keep them here for like 3 years and have one booking every like 4 months. Like it's not worth it. But again, I will say if I knew so much about marketing that I do now, I feel like I could have shifted things and gotten more bookings for teeth whitening that I could continue to offer it. But back then I didn't actually know much about marketing in general. I clearly didn't have enough like business skills to get my current services like nails fully booked. So I don't know how I thought I was going to add another service like teeth whitening, which is so different to everything else I offer, and actually have that be successful in my salon, because it wasn't. And I feel like especially for teeth whitening, I used to blame it on the fact that, the town that I'm in, they just don't spend money. Everyone in this town, like lower income, that kind of thing, which I feel like has also changed over the years. I feel like, yes, there are areas that have a lower socioeconomic status, but there are always going to be people within these areas that can afford different services. There'll be people that travel from other areas. So for me, my mindset was probably more of a fixed mindset. I was like, no one's going to be able to pay this in this area. No one's going to want to. And I think also the clash with having such cheap nail prices and then offering, teeth whitening where I was willing to charge what everyone else charged, and, value of nails compared to other things. That was a whole nother episode. But I feel like one of the excuses people make as to not charging properly is that they think that people aren't going to pay it based on the area that they're in. When I think that's not true, because I used to think that way. Trust me, I used to think that way. That was my exact reason for not raising my prices sooner. But I'm still in the same area. I've been in the same area for 6 years. Like my whole time running this business, I've been in this area. Same salon, same everything. And my prices that were probably $60, I think even $50 when I first started, not even including like the model sets, which were a lot cheaper. $50, $60. I literally just raised my prices for new clients last night. No notice. I always give my regulars notice, but I raised my prices last night, $120 to $130 for plain color nails. That is more than double what I was charging. Same town, same business, still fully booked. And I feel like that just goes to show that it doesn't matter what area you're in. What matters is your business skills and how you actually market your business, how you position your business. I know that not everyone's going to be able to afford the nails that I offer, but I created this like pricing spreadsheet for myself, which I'd love to like give to other people at a later stage. I think maybe I'll give it to my mentorship clients, but I created this pricing spreadsheet for myself, and based on the amount of hours I want to work in my salon, that's literally just what I need to charge. Based on my overheads, my product costs, and the hours that I want to work in my salon. I want paid annual leave. I want paid sick leave. So that's literally what my spreadsheet is telling me to charge, because I'm a lengthy manicure person. I'm not someone that rushes. You have to actually charge what's going to be profitable for you and not let your fixed mindset of people in this area aren't going to pay that hold you back. I don't even know how we ended up on that topic, but what were we talking about? Services, not adding more services. I just like ramble for too long and then I lose the plot. But we were talking about diluting your message. Yes, I feel like there's some salons that can offer quite a few services and they're still consistently booked. But I feel like when you're struggling to first get bookings, the last thing that you want to do is dilute your messaging. You want to be known as the expert at something. And then once you get fully booked with that, if you do want to add something, amazing, right? You can always add something later on. But I feel like if you're still in the stage that you're struggling to get fully booked consistently, I personally wouldn't be adding another service just yet. That's just my recommendation based on what I've done in my business, the mistakes that I've made. I wouldn't be adding another service unless I was fully booked at a profitable price with a service that I already had. Because you can be fully booked with the service that you already have, but then if you increase your prices, you could lose clients and then, wow, you're no longer fully booked. So I would wait until you're fully booked at profitable pricing with your current service. Then I'll do a lot of market research, make sure that the new service I'm planning on offering is something that people in my area are going to invest in, or that my current clients are going to invest in, or if not, how I can attract other people who are actually going to book the service. How can I market it differently so they come to me over who they normally go to? How am I going to market it to make it something that they do want to invest in? How am I going to shift their mindset? So I do find it quite hard to market yourself as someone that does everything versus someone that's the expert. Like even right now, like I talked about in another episode, I was kind of ghosting my salon page for a hot minute because I've been so focused on the podcast and nail training and mentoring and all the things that I kind of ghosted it. And now that I'm trying to get back into regular programming, regular posting on the salon page, I was trying to configure which service I'm posting which day. Is it manicures? Is it pedicures? Is it lash lifts, lash extensions, eyebrows? Is it just going to be a wax and dye? Is it going to be a wax dye and lamination? Like it's so hard to kind of like know what to post. And it's like, I can't just have before and afters. I need like this kind of post as well. I need this kind of post as well. But I also have like 5 different services, art, no art, like what, I don't know. It's my brain's gonna explode. And honestly, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone to have this many services. I would just pick 1 or 2 things that you can market really well. 1 or 2 things that you can be known for. It could be manicures and pedicures. It could be lashes and brows. It could be whatever it may be. Maybe eventually you could add a 3rd, but just remember that it's 1 more thing you're gonna have to pay for as a startup investment. 1 more thing that you're gonna have to continue to pay for your product costs and your upskilling. And 1 more thing that you're gonna have to market. So I would say if you're not fully booked at profitable pricing, don't add anything else just yet. You can wait a little bit. Fix the foundation of your business. Because if you don't fix that foundation of your business, every time you try to add something else, you're losing more and more money and it's not actually solving your problem. So I want you to take away from this episode that struggling to get fully booked is not a sign that you need to add another service. It is a sign that you need to be rebooking your current clients and attracting new clients. Adding a new service is not only going to dilute the messaging of your business, dilute your marketing, but it's also not solving the root cause of the problem. Your problem is not having enough clients. Yes, when you add a new service, you may get some new clients that come to you for that new service, or you may be able to upsell those existing clients, but the cycle is just going to keep repeating. So before you add a new service, I want you to actually consider, is this going to solve my problem? Can I even afford to make this investment, this ongoing investment? Is it going to pay off right now? Or am I better off adding it once I actually fix the problem that is the lack of bookings? Take from this episode what you will, but I am just sharing my experience with this. I feel like I'm the perfect person to talk about this. You don't need another service. Just fix what you've got going on. If you're still very excited to offer something else, maybe it's just a few gaps here and there, you could add another service. But my top priority for you would literally just be working on attracting clients, rebooking your existing clients, and filling up your calendar. And once your existing services prices are profitable, then you could add another service. You don't have to listen to me, but this is just based on experience, so I thought I'd share it with you guys because I feel like I see posts all the time that people are like, I'm struggling with nail clients, I'm gonna start offering eyelash extensions. I wanna start offering lash lifts. Or this is trendy, I'm gonna start offering this. Like, you need to consider, why do you wanna offer it? Do you wanna offer it because you're passionate about it and it's something else that you wanna add to your business? Or you're just offering it to try and cover up the problem that you already have, and that's not enough bookings. I hope you guys got a lot of value from this episode. As of the time that you're watching this, mentorship applications would have officially opened yesterday. If you missed my previous episodes or you've not been tuned in on the Instagram or in the emails, I announced that I'm officially offering one-on-one private business mentorship with me. This is when we go into your business and solve these problems. So if you come to me and you're like, Monique, I want to add another service in my business, and we look at your business and you're not earning much money, you don't have many bookings, we're going to work on filling your books. We're going to work on the marketing, the new client attraction strategies, how to rebook your existing clients and keep them coming back, how to make more money from your existing clients, so many things. And I'm so excited that this program is finally ready to share with you guys. I did go into the details in another episode, and there's heaps of information over on Instagram, and you can just DM me the word elevate and we can chat it through and make sure mentorship is the right fit for you. But I wanted to let you guys know that applications are officially open. There's only limited spots available because it is completely one-on-one with me. It's not a course, it is live with me over Zoom. Strategy calls, support, all the things to move the needle forward in your business. And because it's officially launching this week, there is a limited time only launch special. This is literally the lowest price that you're ever going to be able to get to work with me exclusively one-on-one. So if you want the opportunity to experience mentorship with me for the lowest price it will ever be, DM me the word elevate on Instagram, @blossominbusiness_, and I'm happy to chat through it with you. I hope you guys found this episode helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for listening to this episode of Blossom in Business. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love if you could give the video a thumbs up on YouTube or rate the podcast 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. If you don't want to miss an episode, make sure to hit the notification bell so you get notified every single time a new episode drops. If you want to follow along on my journey, I've put the links to all of my socials in the description. If there's any topics you'd like covered on the podcast, or you'd like to apply to be a guest speaker, you can find the links in my description. Stay tuned for the next episode.